I'm JB.
I'm Nada.
And we are currently watching Severance Season 2. So,
let's talk about it. All right. So, if you have subscribed to our channel, which you should right now, do it right now. If you have, you've seen us do movie reviews, right? But this channel is not just about movie reviews. Really, we want to talk with you about anything. So we said, how about we talk about a show we really love called Severance. It's on Apple TV+. Now, this is the second season of Severance, okay? So go back and watch the first one.
Watch season 1 if you have.
Like, seriously, we really, really love the show, and we wanted to talk about it because it's so good, but we weren't sure how many people had Apple TV+.
Yeah.
So it's like, should we not? But it's too good. So we just said, why don't we do a mid-season review, and then we'll talk about like our theories, what's going on so far, how we feel about it, and then we'll come back and we'll do something at the end of this season. Okay? So, if you don't want to know, because right now we're up to what, episode 4, 5? Okay. If you don't want to know, if you are not the person who wants to get the spoilers before you watch stuff, I'm not. I like to watch things in order, right? But if you don't care, stay on. If you care, go ahead. You got our suggestion. Watch Severance.
Watch it, y'all.
Season 2. Watch 1 and 2.
Season 2.
Okay? All right. But we're about to get into what we think about the season so far. All right. Tell me what you thinking. How you feel about it?
So, Severance is really good. I'm enjoying it. It's really cryptic, but it's still kind of fun. I know it's not a lot of people's cup of tea at first because it seems a little weird, but you got to embrace the weird.
Embrace the weird.
Yeah.
Like, seriously,
Yeah.
It's worth it. It pays off.
Yeah.
If you just stick with it, go with it, lean into the weird.
Yeah.
All right? Lean in.
It's a really compelling show. It's kind of fun, and it kind of leaves a lot of mystery, a lot of clues, so it keeps you guessing. But we really like it.
Okay, so where are we at right now? End of episode 5?
Yeah. So in episode 5, we saw Helly return.
Yes.
So Helena Egan has been, she's been posing as Helly all season.
Bomb drop.
Yeah.
Who thought she was really Helly, and who thought she was Helena Egan?
Yeah, because I don't know. We saw some signs early on.
Yeah.
That I was like, I don't know. I don't think it's Helena. I'm sorry.
You don't think it's Helly.
Yeah, I don't think it's Helly, but it was definitely Helena Egan. There were times like in the first episode when she came back, she gave Mark a hug, but it was like kind of stiff and a little bit weird, even though at the end of season 1 they had shared a kiss. And so there would be comfortability if it was Helly, but it was definitely Helena. Then in I think it was episode 2 and 4, there were times when she was sort of weird around them. She was weird around Marquez. She didn't really know what to do around them. They tried to hug, they tried to talk in the hallway, and that was kind of weird. And it just felt like, nah, this isn't her. And then the biggest giveaway for me was when they were going down, when they were on the standard floor and going down to the severed floor. And each one of them in episode 2, every time one of them, Dylan, Marquez,
like a Zoom thing.
Yeah, every time Dylan or Marquez got into the elevator, you would hear the elevator ding. But when she got in, the camera purposely zooms in on her, but you don't really know because the elevator doesn't ding. And because it didn't change, I didn't think she changed. And I thought it was Helena.
Yeah, you thought that the whole way. I think they kind of got me back and forth. But you know who did know? Our boy Irv knew.
Yeah, he knew.
Irv knew from the jump.
He definitely knew.
And Irv stood on business.
Because y'all, in episode 4, when they were out in the wilderness on that Orpo retreat. So, I know, it's a stupid name. But at the end, he kind of suspected the whole episode. He kept saying like...
he suspected from the beginning.
Right, he did. He's like, what's up with those night gardeners?
Night gardeners.
And he's like, tell us more about what your innie saw when you were outside. and she just kind of gives a vague, ambiguous answer. But then he kind of questions her at the end of episode 4. He's like, oh, if you were a Heliar, you'd be a lot nicer to me. But what you did early on in the episode, that was really mean, and Heliar would not do that. You're Helena. Also, who would have the power to send an Audi to the seventh floor? And that's why he linked her to an Egan.
Putting all the pieces together, baby.
Then he grabbed her head, and he was finna.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I didn't think he was finna
I knew he was going to call her out and all that. You could feel like the tension going there.
Yeah.
But for him to drown this woman.
Man. And y'all, she gave it up quick too, because when he was drowning her, Milchick was on the hill watching him drown her. He's like, "Oh, she's an Audi." He pulls her back up out of the water. She said, "Hey, abort mission. Hey, he knows." She gave it up. She gave it up so fast.
The man was drowning her.
It was so
in
funny.
that cold water, I have to be freezing cold.
Yeah, it was just funny that she gave it up so quick.
So it's like, obviously they sent somebody down there to spy on what they're doing, to see how everybody is like getting reacclimated to the floor, and you already knew that they were trying to divide them up, right? Like, so we got Dylan getting his little special privileges,
and they actually hint to that in episode 5. Milchick specifically says it in front of the rest of the team
because he wants them to know, like, he's trying to break up that little buddy group, because now, and I wanted to say now everybody is like coming together about this Earth thing, but that's not necessarily true. Dylan is like standing on business for Earth right now, but Helly is confused. She just got back. She don't know what to think. She's very confused, and Mark don't trust nobody because he's like, now I didn't share this intimate moment with you because in episode 4,
and now he has sex with Helena Egan, not Heliar. So now he's like, who do I believe? Who do I trust?
Like, I saw something else that somebody was like, why is Mark acting so different? He like, I just slept with this woman and she wasn't who I thought she was. Of course he acting different and treating her different. He's not trying to be like rude to her. I don't think he is. But yeah, I just feel like, he would be standoffish.
And moving forward, I'm interested to see how Heliar will take the information that when she finds out that Mark slept with her.
You think he's gonna tell her?
No.
Or do you think Milchick's gonna tell her?
Somebody else it's gonna indirectly come out.
Because Milchick brought it up.
Yeah. So
like, y'all was having sex in that tent.
And episode 5 was also about Milchick's performance review. And since it went so bad, since it went so poorly, they were like, hey, you need to tighten the leash on all of them, all the innies on the 7th floor. So he comes down, and at the end of the episode, he basically tells Mark, like, I know you had sex with Helena Egan. So as a way to almost control him, like, hey, make sure you do what I tell you to do, otherwise I will tell her. Right. I'll tell Helen.
Okay, so another thing I want to know what y'all think about. How do y'all feel Milchick is going to progress from this point? Because on the one hand, you see, like, he wants to impress them.
He does.
He wants to be a leader and all of that stuff. But at the same time, he's frustrated with them. Yeah. That little picture set they gave him.
He ain't like that.
Dressed up as that white man.
No, he ain't like that.
He did not. He put that stuff right back in the box, shoved it up in the little closet. He didn't like that. And you can see, what's baby girl name with the curly hair?
Natalie.
There's an exchange between them that almost like mirrors Get Out. You know, like when old girl is like looking and she's forcing herself to smile.
To smile, yeah.
But a tear's coming down her face. It was giving those vibes.
It was giving Get Out.
So, yeah.
Natalie, especially, I feel like she's one of the characters who presents this masked face, right? And so you can almost see the mask crack a couple of times, but then she puts it back on real quick. She holds the smile. But you know, there's like an eerie feeling that you get when you see her put on this face.
So I don't know which direction he's going to go in. Because I feel like he's fed up with them. He was mad when he got their review. And they put all that petty stuff on the review. Yeah, okay, it was like him using paper clips or something like that. They said
he put the paperclip on the wrong way. I was like,
he used too many big words. I'm like, let this black man use some big words.
Like, bro, let him live. Let him live.
But, so I don't know. I feel like he wants badly to get their approval, but at the same time, like, he's frustrated with it, and you can see. So I don't know. Part of me feels like by the end of the season, Milchick gonna crack. I feel like he gonna crack.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's full switch, but he gonna crack.
Yeah. And then the overarching plot, like what's actually happening on the floor, like what's going on with Cold Harbor. We don't know what's up with the file.
What's Cold Harbor? What are they doing? What is this place?
I don't know. It seemed like they need the whole team to be there just for Mark to finish.
Yeah, why
like their
Mark?
work ain't important either. So I'm like, well, what is it so important about Mark S, his work, Cold Harbor? I don't know.
Yeah.
In episode 3, there was the scene with the goats where they went to the area with the goat farmers. And that was, first of all, that scene was super weird.
It was. That big old man stood up with that goat costume on.
That was weird. Yeah. It was so weird.
We had to run it back. I felt like I was doing something. I went to grab some water, and he was like, "Did you see that?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "Did that big goat man just stand there?"
But at the end of that scene, they crowded around them, and they're like, "Hey, before you go, show us your bellies." And I'm like, or show us your stomachs. And I'm like, and so she immediately said that they clones.
Clones.
So this is speculation.
Another theory, all right? This is another theory.
Theory time. So we are kind of leaning towards the idea of clones because I thought, why would they ask to see your belly or your stomach
if
they didn't want to see your belly button? Right.
Because they want to see if you were birthed.
If you were born or if you were cloned in a lab. I was like,
because if you were cloned in a lab, you would not need to have an umbilical cord.
Right.
So it was the first thing. As soon as I saw him say, "Lift up your shirt, we want to see your," I'm like, they clones. So like we already kind of had this, are they cloning them thought. I mean, even when you just, from the beginning, when you think about Gemma.
Because I'm like, if Gemma died in a car accident, but she's still down here, either they faked her death and kept her down here, or she actually died and she actually did die. And that's her clone down there.
Yeah.
But she can't go back up like to the regular world because to the rest of the world she's dead. So it's like, what is it?
Once we realized she was still alive, I think we began to try to figure out like, why do we think she's two different people? The goat thing made us think about
symbolically seeing all those goats made, I don't know why I put the idea of cloning in my head.
It's because goats remind us of sheep. And sheep make you think about Lucy, the sheep that they supposedly cloned and all of that stuff. So I don't know. I feel like that's definitely where my mind went.
It was.
When I saw all of the goats.
Yeah.
So theory about that. Then there was also in the episode, was it 4, when they were like getting directions about where to go.
Yeah.
And they had clone looking like versions of themselves directing them, duplicates of themselves directing them, but they looked a little dead, but you thought that they were robots.
So I only thought they were robots because I looked at the word Ortbo, the anagram, or the acronym Ortbo, and then I rearranged the letters to be robot, and I was like, that's interesting. I'm like, I wonder if they're robots, because the camera stays far enough away from them that you can't really see any real definition. But you can tell that it looks like them, but not close enough. So I'm like, when they're pointing a direction and they walk towards them,
did y'all
see them? Did they just
say something?
Right? Did they disappear? Like, what happened? I don't know.
That was very weird.
It was.
That whole episode was very weird.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about how weird the whole
Egan
stuff. All of it is weird.
Yeah.
The
weird.
Masks, the weird dances. I mean, he was walking around reading a book about I was trying to make sure I said this in a nice way.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. You talking about the 4th appendix, right? Like when he was like, he spilled his lineage or whatever.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. Spilling his lineage in front of his brother all on the ground.
I was like, okay, that definitely means something else, but okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's very, very weird. It's odd.
Weird. Oh, and y'all, I'm telling you, this is like a far-fetched theory. I have no reason to believe this.
Okay, listen to this one. I already know what you're about to say.
I feel like Miss Wong is Mark S.'s daughter and Gemma's daughter. I don't know that for sure, but it's just like, I don't know, Miss Wong definitely has a certain look that is similar to Gemma. And wouldn't it be crazy if Miss Wong turned out to be Mark S.'s daughter? Especially at the end of episode 5, because at the end of 5, there was like a quote. He was going back and forth with his reintegration, and he peeped down the hallway of the Sever floor, and he saw Gemma, and she said, "Your Audi is going to be," and then stopped, and then the episode ended. And I'm like, was she gonna say gonna be a father? Because that's their daughter. I have no idea. I have no reason to think that, but I don't know.
Could that statement be said not because of Miss Wong, but because he just had sex with Helena Egan?
And he could get Helena pregnant.
You could be the baby daddy.
Bro, crazy.
Because, okay, I feel like the Miss Wong thing is a little far-fetched.
It's far-fetched.
How long? I don't think Gemma has been dead that long.
No,
Miss Wong got to be 14.
Yeah, I don't know.
13.
It's far-fetched, y'all. So
but he ain't been saying that, so like, I don't know. That's a theory.
Would be crazy.
I don't know if I can get with that one, but it would be very crazy if it turned out that way. So, who else?
Or if low-key, if Miss Wong was a version of Gemma that they cloned and is currently growing up, like she's a clone that was made and maybe like a test, so maybe she's not like the final product, but like she just happened to be growing up and she is looking, 12, 13 years old.
By that regard, you would think that everybody's clone has to still start as an infant.
Yes, but maybe they just grow quicker or something. I don't know. I don't know.
The only reason
clone rules are so hard in shows, because the show has to establish ground rules for cloning. Like if you're watching time travel films, time travel movies, you have to establish the rules of it. So I don't know what the rules are yet because I'm just guessing. But
but then that would make me guess about all of the people with the goat people, because obviously some of them had belly buttons and some of them didn't. So
I don't know.
And they were older.
Yeah.
Who did you say her girl was? The big one with the bell?
So the main woman who was ringing the bell, that was Bree Tarth or something like that from Game of Thrones. Bree? Yeah, Bree Tarth or something
anyway,
like that.
what's up?
From Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Fans.
I was like, I feel like I seen her from somewhere, but
and I didn't pick that up at first. So good call.
Yeah.
What else is going on? Oh, I was gonna say Miss Cobell.
So we don't even know what she's doing.
What is she doing?
I don't know.
Mark. Yeah, I like how she say his name because it gets on my nerves.
Yeah, it get on my nerves too.
Yeah, what is she doing?
She wanted her job back at Lumen, but when Helena Egan was going to give her job back, she was like, "Oh, we're going to promote you," and she's like, "No, I want to be the manager of the Sever floor." It's like she feels jealous that Milchick has her job. But
she want her job.
I don't know. This is another speculation, but I feel like she may get the job back because who knows if Milchick's performance reviews are still bad. They might call her back and give her whole job back because he needs to be doing better, and his performance review is terrible. So
I can see that. I wanted to bring up just her weird association with Helena Egan. And with Mark. But again, everybody is so focused on Mark. Mark is the one who has to do this. At first, I thought she was so focused on Mark because of Gemma. And she was trying to figure out, make sure everything was going well because she knew Gemma up top died. But what's her name?
Miss Casey.
Yeah, Miss Casey was still there. So I thought it had something to do with that. But then no, they keep going back to he's almost done. He's gonna finish.
He's at 81%.
And we need him to do it. So there is a specific distinction with Mark versus the other people. But I was gonna say her and the shrine that she had.
Was weird, yeah.
Now you don't see the shrine in this season. That's in season 1. But I'm just saying how wrapped up she was in this stuff. What's up with the bracelet, the hospital bracelet?
I think that was her mom's. I'm not sure why it's relevant yet, but yeah, I think it was her mom's.
So I'm interested to see where she's gonna pop back up, if she'll be in this next episode or not.
Y'all, last thing I was going before I forget, we were talking about Bert and how he's gone.
Oh,
but his
no,
Audi.
Irving.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Irving. So how Irving's Innie is gone, but Irving's Audi is like doing some stuff. So he keeps going to the payphone. He keeps calling somebody.
Yeah.
I think I know who he calling, but I have no reason to believe this. But I think he's talking to Ragabi, the black woman who is reintegrating Mark.
Okay, and I mean I could see that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I have no reason to think that, but like I was trying to think who would he be talking to? Like, it can't be somebody at Lumen, someone maybe like an ex-person at Lumen who, it would have been PD, the one who, but he died last season. So I'm like, well, maybe he could be talking to Ragabi, maybe working with her on the outside. Because
I can see that.
And see, in episode 5, we found out that Irving was trying to send messages to his Innie. And how could you be doing that unless someone had some experience doing that at Lumen? Like, and she's the only one who I know who has like inner like concepts, ideas, like knowings of what's going on in Lumen while being outside and not working there.
So I've always had this feeling that Irving saw something. Like, I don't think all that happened when his Innie was out was that he just drove to Bert's house and was banging on the door. I know it stops right there. And then when they, at the beginning, when they all come back and they talk about what they saw, he says, you know, like, I really don't want to talk about it. And I understand that was because he saw Bert was happy with another man and married or whatever it is. But I just always had a feeling like, no, you saw something else while you were up there because he came back down with so much suspicion. That I don't know. I felt like it's a piece that we're missing because he's been on it ever since then.
He has.
How do you feel about Dylan seeing his family?
That was pretty cool. It was interesting because even Miss Wong said you can't tell the Innie certain things. So, but Dylan was so hyper focused on like his family, his kids. That's all he's like been worried about. I don't really think he's done much work since he's been like in this season.
I feel like nobody has been doing any work.
Yeah, they ain't been doing no work. So I'm surprised Mark is at 81% for real. But
Cold Harbor.
Dylan was so focused on like seeing his family, and he still is. That's why he's got this sort of plot line tied up with, oh, I got special privileges to see my family in the family wing.
And they could dangle that in front of him like a carrot because he cares so much about seeing his kids and his wife. I think that they do a good job with separating the Innies and the Audis. Because like if you think about his Audi, he lazy, he can't keep a job, he bounced around, barely could take care of his family, his wife getting ready to go work the night shift and he just laying on the couch. But his Innie was like
very driven,
very motivated, gung-ho for all this Lumen stuff. He wanted all the weird stuff. He wanted
that's a good
he did.
Yeah, it's a good way of seeing both sides of the coin. Like these actors are playing two really different people. And I'm sitting over here like, dang, they're really good because I can believe them. I see the dichotomy between both.
Yeah.
Like how, like you said, one is really driven, one is like really lazy. And he was disappointed to find out that his Audi was like a
bum almost.
Yeah.
For
like
real.
he was upset about it.
Even when you just look at like Helly R versus Helena Egan and how their personalities and stuff are completely so different. Mark's Innie and his Audi are so different. I like how they do that.
Yeah.
I like how they really show like, no, we have like almost separated them into two different people.
I think like Helena Egan is very suit and tie proper, very snobbish a little bit because she's also like rich and everything. Vegan. But then Helly R is completely different. She's relaxed. She's rebellious. She is like chill. She's much more brash, and erratic. That's why she's like worried about going back down there because she don't want to get killed or her to commit suicide and kill Helena Egan again.
And I think Helena Egan is jealous of Helly R.
I think she's jealous of her and Mark's relationship.
I think she's just jealous of her in general because of who she is able to be, the personality and all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's almost like she can be free, and to have all the power on the outside and to be jealous of someone who basically has no power on the inside is a very interesting position that they put them in.
Because you see, like she doesn't even have all the power on the outside. She didn't want to send anybody back down there. She's like, I'm not going.
But because she's an
and
Egan,
Big Boy, what's the Big Boy's name? I don't know.
Drummond.
He like, listen, this has already been decided. Your daddy said such and such. So even in that, like, she is in a powerful position per se, but she doesn't have that same voice that Helly R has. And I think she got to see that when she was watching them tapes of what happened before, when she watched the kiss and stuff.
It's good stuff, y'all.
It's a good show. What do you all think? I want to know the theories.
Yeah, tell us what you think is going to happen.
Okay? We want to know. And if something really crazy happened, we might just have to come back
and do it. Yeah,
do 3/4. I don't know. But we'll see. So please get in the comments. Make sure you like the video. Subscribe to our channel. Hit the little bell so you get notifications for when we post new videos. And we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, see y'all later.